Oh, if y'all remember Michael Jackson, The Experience. Yo, the older Gen Z, we got mad arthritis, knee problems, hip problems from this goddamn game. I would spend hours and hours trying to get the highest rank on all the songs on this game. All right, before we get this video started, I would just like to tell everybody to mind your business, okay? Mind your business, all right? I'm currently on my lunch break. I'm at work right now. I look dirty, disgusting, all right? Just know that I work outside, and this is probably going to be the only time I get a chance to work on this video. So please be nice to me in the comments, all right? I know my hair looks a mess. I know I look a mess. Just know I'm on my lunch break, all right? But it's going to be a banger video regardless. So let's get this party started. Why Gen Z is obsessed with Michael Jackson right now. Video by Michael Jackson Unfiltered. Now, before I get into clarity in this video, I would just like to say thank you all for wishing me a happy birthday last week. Yes, my birthday was May 2nd, and well, thank you. I went to go spend some time with my family for my birthday and for Mother's Day, for that matter, which was this past Saturday. So to all of the mothers, the single mothers, and to all them fine MILFs out there, happy Mother's Day to you. Now, during my birthday weekend, I went to go see the Michael Jackson movie, and it was just about what I expected it to be. An accurate representation and depiction of Michael Jackson's life, albeit with a lot of Hollywood sanitization, but that's for another video, okay? The reason why I'm making this video now is because I took my sister with me to see the Michael Jackson movie, and it just took us down this Michael Jackson rabbit hole to the point where even my nieces now wanted to go see the movie, and we went to go see it the day before Mother's Day, the following Saturday. Then on Sunday, my mom invites me, my sister, and her nieces over, and her daughters, I should say, over to her house, and we got to eat some really good, phenomenal home-cooked food by my dad. Shout out to my pops. And we watched Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. All right, so that's pretty much the dressing for this video. Now, to add on to it, we've seen an uptick in not just Michael Jackson content on the algorithm, but I've recently discovered that Michael Jackson's albums have now soared once again to the top of the streaming charts. And we're going to get into why that is happening right now with the current generation and why they love Michael Jackson so much now. So without further ado, let's get this party started.
Here's a number that should be impossible. Michael Jackson currently has approximately 64 to 68 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Really? That's crazy now that I think about it. Yo, imagine getting that many views from the Upper Room. Absolutely insane.
That's more than Beyonce, more than Chris Brown, more than dozens of artists who are alive, working, and spending millions on marketing right now. Michael hasn't released a studio album since 2001. He's been dead for nearly 17 years. And
God damn. Bro, I'm getting old. Okay, 17 years. 17 years since this dude passed away. That's crazy. What was going on in 2000? Oh, 2009. Damn, Randy Orton was being a menace to society. In 2009, golly, crazy.
He's out.
I think I was 12, either 11 or 12 when that happened. So it's phenomenal.
Streaming everyone. Something is happening. Numbers like these shouldn't exist, but here they are. Michael Jackson's catalog has racked up over 13.5 billion streams on Spotify alone. Tracks recorded before most of Gen Z was born: Billie Jean, Thriller, Beat It. Each pull in billions of plays, with Thriller alone sitting at 2.64 billion streams. The official Billie Jean video on YouTube is closing in on 2 billion views.
Golly. That's crazy. And by the way, this is without the moonwalk. All right, the moonwalk wasn't introduced until Motown's 25th anniversary, which is also on the same trek as the Billie Jean video, closing in on 2 billion views if it hasn't done it already.
These aren't trickles from nostalgia playlists, they're tidal waves of current listening. In April 2026, Spotify's own API showed 32.5 million monthly listeners, a number that holds steady or climbs with every major cultural moment. For comparison, Beyoncé hovers at 38 million, Chris Brown at 21 million. But Jackson's numbers aren't the product of a new album, a global tour, or a viral controversy. They're driven by a catalog that refuses to age out of the algorithm. The gravity of these numbers is impossible to ignore.
And you know, that just goes to show you the greatness of Michael Jackson. The fact that his music has stood the test of time. It is generational. It transcends all generations, from the boomers, the Gen X, the millennials, the Gen Zs, and even to the Gen Alpha. Like, I had my nieces quite literally moonwalking as they were watching the movie Moonwalker at my parents' house. My 6-year-old niece now. Damn. My 6-year-old niece was just dancing a Smooth Criminal, and I was just like, this dude has really transcended generations. Like, it is absolutely amazing, and that's just a testament to Michael's greatness musically.
Billie Jean doesn't just survive in the background, it dominates flagship playlists, lands on Discover Weekly, and stays in heavy rotation on curated charts. Smooth Criminal racks up over 763 million Spotify streams, while Beat It crosses 1.3 billion. The entire Michael Jackson catalog.
You've got to be. I know you fucking lying. Golly, bro. What? Crazy.
Spanning 150 official releases, has become a digital juggernaut, generating more engagement than most active pop stars could ever hope for. These are not the metrics of a legacy act quietly fading into history. They're the fingerprints of an artist whose work has become part of the internet's DNA. For Gen Z, Michael Jackson isn't just a memory. They're streaming him like he never left. A teenager scrolling through TikTok in 2026 is just as likely to stumble onto Michael Jackson as they are to find a new release from Drake.
And that is fucking insane, considering how much Gen Z, I don't know if they still glaze him, but they glazed Drake to no end. And this is coming from somebody who was at one point a Drake fan. And just for clarification, I am a part of the older Gen Z crowd. I was born in 1997, so like anywhere between 1997 and like 2000, 2001, those are the older Gen Zs. We grew up on we didn't grow up on Michael Jackson in his prime, no less, but we did grow up on Mike. You know, there's a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, and whenever you would, after you're watching Saturday morning cartoons, your parents would play one of the 4 genres. It was either gospel music, Motown, R&B, or Michael Jackson. If you heard any of those 4 genres on a Saturday afternoon, you knew what time it was. But it like that's a different story. But regardless, the fact that, you know, we have Michael Jackson impersonators, we have his music still streaming to this day. It just goes to show you the cultural and generational impact that this guy had on all of us. And while I'm speaking on the movie, shout out to Jafar Jackson. I think the casting directors made the right call with going with Jafar Jackson as far as having him portray Michael, because he looked eerily similar. Like, it scared the hell out of me when I watched the movie. It scared me how much this dude looked exactly like his uncle.
The first point of contact is almost never a full song. It is a 12-second moonwalk, a bass drop from Billie Jean, or a split-screen dance challenge. These clips move fast. One viral hashtag Michael Jackson video can rack up 12 million views in a weekend, spawning thousands of duets and remixes. On TikTok alone, the hashtag Michael Jackson has pulled in 1.24 billion views in the last 30 days, with hashtag Michael Jackson Dance close behind at
What the
780
fuck?
million.
Yo,
Hashtag
that's
Billie Jean
crazy.
Challenge and hashtag Thriller Challenge.
I just want to point this out. Hold on, let me jump back a frame here.
Million.
Let me jump back a frame. Yo, if y'all remember Michael Jackson The Experience. Yo, the older Gen Z, we got mad arthritis, knee problems, hip problems from this goddamn game. 'Cause I would spend hours and hours trying to get the highest rank on all the songs on this game. Oh man, I love this.
Hashtag Billie Jean Challenge and hashtag Thriller Challenge. Each break the 300 million mark, and that is just the surface. The pipeline is simple. A creator grabs a 15-second audio from the sound library, adds their spin, maybe a moonwalk, maybe a side-by-side with AI-restored concert footage, and the algorithm does the rest. The more duets, stitches, and reactions, the higher the sound climbs in the recommendation feed. Gen Z creators like @DanceWithTina, whose hashtag Billie Jean Challenge video triggered over 4,000 duets in 2 weeks, have become discovery engines themselves.
2
Clips
weeks?
do not just entertain, they launch a wave of first listens. As teens tap the song, follow the link, and stream the full track on Spotify or Apple Music. Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts amplify the effect. A single reel can go from a test audience to millions of views in days, while Shorts funnel curious viewers into the official music videos, sometimes boosting watch time by nearly 5% in a matter of days. The result
That's
is a
crazy.
feedback loop. Every viral clip, every trending hashtag, every dance challenge sends new listeners back to Jackson's catalog, making a 40-year-old track feel as urgent and current as anything released today.
Now, keep in mind, this dude, Thriller is the best-selling album of all time, okay? Of 40, almost 45 years. Thriller, to this day, has achieved records unbeknownst to man. And this was all without social media. This was without Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Vine. I'm just showing my age here. He did this without social media. Could you imagine if we had Prime MJ currently? Like, imagine if Thriller came out in 2026 with social media. Imagine if Bad, Off the Wall, Dangerous, hell, even History, which History wasn't his best work. That's just my opinion. Invincible. Could you imagine if we had prime Michael Jackson currently in 2026? He would absolutely destroy everyone's algorithm. He would absolutely destroy the internet if he was still alive today.
A single Michael Jackson song doesn't just live in one place, it multiplies across the digital landscape. Billie Jean isn't locked to the 80s playlist, it turns up
Like, goddamn. And look, I'm sorry that I keep pausing, but we're gonna do another video here, and we're going to listen to songs like Uptown Funk, 24 Karat Magic. What's another one? I'm pretty sure The Weeknd has also had some songs that were very Michael Jackson coded. But we're going to do another video, and we're going to show you how powerful this dude was on the current generation of music.
on Dance Party, Feel Good Classics, Road Trip Anthems, and even Mood Booster rotations. Playlist curators, both human and algorithmic, see his tracks as Swiss Army knives, genre fluid, instantly recognizable, and endlessly reusable. Spotify's backend reveals that top Michael Jackson songs appear in dozens of simultaneous playlists, sometimes more than
Smooth Criminal beating out Thriller is kind of crazy.
any living artist. This overlap isn't random. Jackson's catalog checks every algorithmic box: high engagement, strong completion rates, and cross-genre appeal. The more playlists a song occupies, the more chances it has to be surfaced for a first-time listener, often someone born decades after its release. For a Gen Z user, it's common to stumble onto Smooth Criminal on a workout mix, then see it again
What? Bro, I know you fucking lying.
in a TikTok dance challenge, and once more in a curated iconic vocals lineup. Each of these touchpoints feeds the platform's recommendation logic, creating a loop where old tracks get treated as new discoveries. Curators describe Jackson's music as a playlist multiplier, a rare catalog that never bottlenecks in a single genre or era. As a result, the algorithm doesn't just tolerate his presence, it amplifies it. Every playlist ad, every save, every full listen sends a fresh signal back to the system, ensuring that Michael Jackson's music isn't just surviving, but thriving in the age of digital curation. The arrival
Crazy.
of the Michael biopic in April 2026 didn't just spark headlines, it sent a measurable shockwave through streaming platforms. When the first official trailer premiered on YouTube in November 2025, it racked up 116 million views in 24 hours.
Damn.
Within days, Spotify's API recorded a 12% jump in Michael Jackson's monthly listeners, peaking at 36.1 million. Neither Beyoncé nor Chris Brown, both tracked as
Okay, but why is Fat Joe in this picture? Why the fuck is Fat Joe in this picture, bro? What? What are we doing?
benchmarks, saw more than a 2% bump during the same window. Each milestone in the campaign left a data trail. The Cannes Film Festival screening in February 2026 nudged Jackson's listener count up another 4%. The launch of the curated Michael Original Soundtrack playlist on Spotify in April, with 50 million followers, pushed the average to 34.4 million. Theatrical release brought the biggest surge. Opening weekend box office hit $85 million, and streaming peaked at 35.9 million monthly listeners, up 9% from baseline. Correlating these events with API snapshots and third-party analytics reveals a clear pattern. Every major biopic moment triggered a fresh spike in catalog consumption. The relationship is more than coincidence. Statistical analysis shows a Pearson correlation of 0.71 between media exposure and streaming uplift. On average, every 100 million media impressions delivered a 5.2% rise in listeners. The mechanics were primed, but the biopic was the spark. Jackson's catalog didn't just ride the wave, it created it. When The Weeknd calls Michael Jackson his blueprint, or Bruno Mars posts a moonwalk rehearsal to millions of followers, it's more than flattery, it's a living endorsement.
Hilarious, because I just mentioned those two. I mean, but should we be surprised by this? No.
BTS weaves Jackson's choreography into their stadium shows. Usher remixes Don't Stop Till You Get Enough for a new generation. Chris Brown tags MJ's official account in viral TikTok dances, while Justin Timberlake blends Black or White into his Grammy set. Even Beyoncé, streaming in the tens of millions herself, credits MJ's vocal layering as inspiration for her latest tour. Each time these artists point backward, their fans follow. Streams spike, playlists update, and Gen Z listeners land on the source.
You know, it's crazy too. When I first heard Bruno Mars 24 Karat Magic 10 years ago, damn, I'm getting old. When 24 Karat Magic came out, I listened to a couple of the songs. You know, I listened to That's What I Like, 24K Magic, Finesse. It all harkened back to, you know, the New Jack Swing era of the 90s. And I immediately thought to myself, like, yo, this is very MJ coded. And come to find out, Bruno Mars cites Michael Jackson as an influence of his. And I'm just like, you know what? No surprise that it's so damn good.
The influence chain isn't abstract. It's a direct referral path, multiplying demand for Jackson's catalog every time a superstar tips their hat. In 2024, the Michael Jackson estate inked a record-shattering deal with Sony, selling a 50% stake in Jackson's master catalog for $600 million.
Oh, Sony. I guess Sony did get their get back.
The agreement didn't just set a new benchmark for legacy music, it supercharged the estate's digital strategy. Sony took over global distribution and streaming rights, while the estate kept tight control over branding, merchandising, and future royalties. This partnership funneled fresh capital into AI-powered video restorations, high-definition remasters, and direct playlist licensing with Spotify and Apple Music. No other legacy.
Yeah, for those who don't know, back in like the mid or late 1990s, Sony and Michael Jackson had quite the beef. It got so bad that one of the songs from his album History is called DS, and it talks about Tom Sneddon and how not once but twice both of the PDF allegations against Michael Jackson were headed by Tom Sneddon, who worked for Sony, and yeah, that became a whole big deal. But again, that's a different video.
The estate moves with this level of speed or precision. By contrast, Prince's catalog sold for $150 million, and Whitney Houston's estate lags behind on digital upgrades. Jackson's Teen Times catalog events to cultural moments, leverages AI to breathe new life into classic videos, and ensures his tracks land on the most influential playlists. The result is a legacy catalog that behaves more like a living, breathing pop phenomenon than a museum piece, one that outperforms its rivals at every turn. Not everyone buys the narrative. Scroll through Reddit threads or comment sections and you will find skeptics asking if Gen Z's obsession is just hype, or if streaming stats are being padded by algorithm tricks. A post in R. Michael Jackson wonders, are these numbers real, or is this just Sony pushing the catalog? A Gen Z fan fires back, I found Michael Jackson through TikTok, not my parents. His music hits different, period. Cultural critics chime in, arguing that viral trends cannot manufacture this kind of sustained engagement.
You'd be surprised. Anything can go viral. Like, let's keep it a buck here. Gen Z makes everything go viral, or most things, I should say, not so much everything, but most things. And you know what? That's perfectly fine if you find Michael Jackson through TikTok. That is a-okay. Especially if you're a part of the younger Gen Z crowd, that's okay. Nothing wrong with it.
The debate rages on, but the data is hard to argue with. Every time the numbers are questioned, another wave of teens post their first listen, another dance challenge goes viral, and Jackson's catalog climbs even higher. The skepticism only seems to fuel the cycle. In a world where millions chase virality, Michael Jackson, gone for over a decade, still outstreams icons with new albums. Gen Z isn't just reviving his legacy, they're redefining it. Today, the algorithms orbit his catalog. Sometimes it's art that technology finally understands. What do you think?
So that's the situation, y'all. Personally, I think it's really cool that the younger Gen Z and then eventually Gen Alpha have found Michael Jackson through these viral trends, because that only solidifies just how generational Michael Jackson actually was. And to the skeptics, you know, believe what you want to believe. Like, sure, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say Sony is artificially, you know, putting these numbers up, and so the fuck what? That's not gonna stop Michael Jackson's dances, his music, and also the Michael Jackson movie itself. Like, that's not going to stop the exposure of Mike's legacy and his music and his dances. That's not going to stop the legacy of who MJ was. So to the skeptics, you know, y'all are thinking way too deep into this. But that's going to be the video, folks. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's get the conversation started. I will be going live this week on Twitch at twitch.tv/DuelMasterToro. Could be doing a replay through of Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales before getting into my first playthrough of Spider-Man 2. The links to all my social medias are in the description box down below in the pinned comment section. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, deuces.